All right, let's do it. All right, hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday afternoon. We're going to do some painting today, and today we're going to paint some drowned earth. And I actually want to show you some more procedural stuff. Like this is Tadala, who is, as you can see, he's this really bright, colorful frog. Absolutely love drowned earth miniatures. So today we're going to be painting um, another really cool sculpt from Drowned Earth. This is Tadala, the happy hippo, and got him primed up. I'm a little worried he's a heavy metal miniature, so I'm probably going to change the stand here before I start painting. Um, but we're going to go over the first sort of dry brushing steps. So you can see this is a Maximus, and then I've been doing some dry brushing on. But we're not working on him today. We're actually going to be working on the hippo. And I kind of want to show you what this process is like. And you don't have to do it this way. I'm actually probably going to be doing some steps that you don't need to do. But I wanted to share them anyway, just so you guys can see a little bit more about this sort of dry brushing process that we have. And it would be even better if I knew where my fancy holder is, and I'm not sure where that is. So we're gonna probably shouldn't hit record so soon, but I'm gonna see if I can find the big mini holder that I usually have. And it's a little concerning that it's not here. But maybe, oh, maybe I did, maybe I stuck it somewhere over here. So, not there. Should have been in here, honestly, but it is not. That's not good that it's not in here. See if it's in here. It really should have been in here too. But oh, here it is. Okay, found it. That's good. All right. So we're gonna. Oh, hey, what's up, Nelson? Yeah, we're gonna mount this. We're gonna paint this hippo here. So I'm really excited for that. But I need to put the sticky tack on this so we can actually use a heavier mount here for this. So bear with me here while I look for my blue tack. Let's get I'm almost out of blue tack. That's okay. You always come back and do your blue tack here. I'm going to get that's actually a big old piece. I do want to have a reasonably big piece here for this. Nelson, your cyberpunk stuff is done. I can, if you're going to hang out for a little bit, I can show it off. If not, you'll see it tomorrow, hopefully, when you come by and pick it up. All right. So let's just I really want this to be secure on here because we are going to be doing some dry brushing. And this is kind of a scary operation, if I'm being honest with you. Because dry brushing a big ol' heavy, this is an old medicine bottle, looks like. A big ol' heavy metal miniature like this is a little dicey. So I'm going to pull him off that one, and we're going to really try to get him nice and snugly secure on there. Okay, so let's get that like that. All right, and so we're going to basically gradient dry brush this model. and it's going to help us identify where all the detail is. It's also going to pre-shade the miniature, right? So I'm going to grab my Cool Artist Opus dry brush set, and I'm going to grab the medium dry brush. And this is your little sponge thing here. I'm going to just add a little bit of water to it, right? And then we're going to start with our first color here, and we are going to start with this color here, English Gray. So English Gray is going to be most of this. Now, of course, you could skip this longer process if you know your colors, the colors that you're going to go with. You already know where you're going with this miniature. But for the sake of showing you guys this process, which is really kind of the undercoating process by which we're painting the miniatures these days, this is how we do it, right? So all right, so let's move this over here. Let's get that there. I'm going to put that in our English Gray, and then I'm going to remove some of this coating. Now, unlike your standard dry brushing, I'm going to leave a little bit more of this on than I normally might, and I'm really just sort of jabbing this down to where you still have a fair amount of paint available, and it's not dry paint, right? So I'm going to start off kind of light. We're going to go in, and I'm just kind of getting right at the top of the brush. It's going to start hitting the model. Right? I'm just going to pick that spot there, and you can see that gray paint starting to go down. Okay. And this is not really a dry brush, guys. This is almost like a stipple or an overbrush. There's a lot more paint going down than you would if you were doing a more traditional dry brush, right? So you can see I'm getting some paint down here, and you don't want this to be too dry. You can see right now there's a little bit of paint going down there. And you can see how when I come back, it's like very close to just a painted layer on there. Because this is an overbrush. And I don't want this to get too rough. It's okay if it's a little bit rough on these first layers, but I don't want it to be so rough that it's actually going to leave a texture, right? So we're just gonna we're gonna do our thing here. I'm gonna get some of that gray into the mouth. And this English Gray is actually going to take up the overwhelming majority of this mini, right? Like, I'm not really holding back much. Once we start to get color down, I'm not going to hold back much. In fact, this is going to actually use up a lot of the little dab of English Gray that I have on my palette right now. It's going to eat up most of it, right? And I am totally good with that. That is what we are aiming to do right now. All right, get this gray layer down. And this is like this sort of pre-treatment stuff can be pretty relaxing because you don't have to be terribly precise, and you're really just kind of letting the sculpt do its thing, right? And you can see on camera, you can actually see enough detail to where you've got line of sight to where the rough chop really is. I'm just going to keep working that in. So this is like the initial, really the initial treatment of the model once we've primed it. You know, I used to do this, and I still do, depending on what the actual color scheme is. I sometimes decide I'm going to go in and zenithal prime. In this case, I probably could have done that. Like I probably could have gone in and zenithal prime this, and then just done like a white dry brush and then slap chopped it, right, to get it to the painted state I want it to be at. But in this case, we're going to be a little bit more thorough about this paint job, and I'm going to get more of this English gray down. Okay. So again, doesn't have to be the most precise thing at this stage, but you do want to have a fair amount of the model. You want to have, I would say, at least 85 to 90% of the model dry brushed to this color. And it's not, as you can see, it's really not all that rough. The camera is actually showing a little more contrast than what it really is. This is a really fun sculpt, so I'm pretty excited about it. Let's make sure. Basically done with this color, but I want to get underneath here. Okay. So this is for my son's Drowned Earth, his faction, Corsairs, and this hippo is just a lot of fun. Okay. Pretty good. So I'm going to clean. Right. And I do this instead of washing my brush. I just go into that little bit of moisture, and then I clean until my bristles are back to that bone color that they typically are. Okay, you can see most, if not all, the paint is gone at this point. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good so far. All right. Now, here's where really you make a decision, because you're going to dry brush your lighter color now, and you have to decide how much of this really needs to be light, right? How much of this really needs to be light? Well, the watermelon part needs to be light. The face should be pretty light. The detail on the face should be pretty light. And I can make, I want most of this to be pretty bright, including the water down below. So I'm going to have a mixture of just like water and grass below this guy. So I want most of it actually to look pretty white. So what we're gonna do is pirates. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this white gray. Yeah, if you're around for a little while, Nelson, let me know how I can show. What we'll do is we'll finish this dry brush step, and then I will show some of your cyberpunk minis. Okay, so white gray, I like to dry brush with white gray as opposed to white. White gray covers a bit better, and it's just an overall nicer color to work with, right? So I'm going to get some, and this one, I am going to remove a little more paint than I did with the English gray. And we can get going, okay? So now we are doing, again, closer to what a typical dry brush might be. All right, just gonna get some paint solid. Down, and I do like to start in the face and just kind of work my way down off of this. Okay, and again, moisture is important here. This should not be a true dry brush. This should actually be your coating, and your brush should be, we'll say just barely damp. Like, you probably don't want it super damp, but you want it more damp than, for sure, than what you do with a typical dry brush. But you can see I'm starting to get good line of sight to detail there. That includes this pterodactyl. It's going to be pretty fun. Since the hippo itself is going to be gray and kind of dull in coloration, we'll make sure that the pterodactyl is reasonably bright. Okay. So now I'm sort of, instead of doing over like a smooth surface like that, I'm doing a circular motion as opposed to a like dragging motion over the belly, because I want it to be softer. I don't want to see. Oh, yeah. What is it, son? Is there an adult going with you? Yeah, you can go. Bye. Okay. It's my kid. Okay. All right. Next faction has more skin mixed with cyberpunk chrome. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, it's a pretty fun range to paint. Let me finish getting this color down, and we'll have a look at these. We'll have a look at these ladies here. These cyber cat ladies. I've been kind of chilling out here this week. But yeah, this is, as you can see, we've got pretty good line of sight to this sculpt, this happy hippo sculpt, which is quite cool. I'm really kind of digging this guy. Okay. All right, and just gonna continue getting that light color where I want it. The pterodactyl is gonna be pretty standout as I'm envisioning what this model is gonna look like in my mind. The pterodactyl is gonna be kind of the like one of the more focal points of the model. Right. Okay. It's looking pretty good. I'm actually going to drop a little more light on the front of this model because that's where the water is going to be. Right, so I want more of the water there. And that's a little disappointing. I wasn't, my plastic filling did not really fill in right there, but that's okay. We'll fix that. We have a easy way to fix that at the end of this process. Okay, so we're gonna take a break from him for a sec. We're gonna wash this off. Okay, let's make sure these dry brushes are nice and clean before I put them away. And you want them to be, you actually want them to be somewhat dry. What you don't want is you don't want the paint. You don't want old paint drying on there and making it crusty. That's bad, right? It's pretty good. Okay, pretty good. All right, I'm gonna put this away for a minute, and let's look at some of the minis I've been painting lately. My social media has been, I've been too lazy. I'm like soured on social media. As you guys know, I haven't been streaming much. I haven't been posting much on Instagram. I haven't been doing that stuff. I've just been kind of living my life, but still pretty productive on the painting side. All right, so let's look at these models. These are the Danger Gals um, from the Monster Fight Club Cyberpunk Combat Zone, and you can see there's a shot of one of them on the cover there, and so these are quite neon, these miniatures, and I went with like an infinity Aleph concept on these, so it's weird. You can't really see your eyes on camera here, but you can see black and then bone. They have like bone armor, and then they have this neon magenta, which is really cool. There's actually two sculpts like this, and I reversed them. So that's her. There's 8 models in this set. Okay. This one here, she's kind of like a hacker. I guess I grabbed the 2 pink hair ones first. She reminded me of, this one reminds me of Triss just because of her makeup uh, from the first Blade Runner. So very cool. Her outfit not quite as showy as the other girl, but she's got all this gear. I'm gonna say she's like the hacker. This is like perfect timing to get the cyberpunk stuff done because I've been really into painting neon. And for those of you that missed the frog at the beginning of this, I'll show you the frog again. So this model, super cool, blue hair, a lot more neon pink. I think the camera here is kind of showing it as a red, but it's really like a neon pink. So that's a really cool model. Like again, all this stuff was like reminds me of like Aleph faction for Infinity, which was my faction. I actually really enjoy painting Aleph. That's why I have a Maximus on my desk, who will get done. As you can see, he finished the undercoating step on him. Here's the other. So these two are sort of analogs, and so I kind of reversed some of the things there. Black skirt and pink jacket this time. These sculpts are fantastic. Fantastic. Really good, really good. It's a little bit extra to build in this lighting, but it's just the payoff is so nice. And this one here, she's got more bone. She's got more armor on, and she's got like neon yellow hair. So because I couldn't decide, I'm like, when I was painting these, the last thing I painted was the hair Because I like, do I give them all the same color hair or do I give them different hair? And I've decided to give them mostly different hair. This model here, very cool with like the lighting again with that. Oh, got 2 for 1. Grabbed 2 accidentally. Um, this one here has the neon orange hair, which is actually, this is as cool as it is. It was one of my least favorite colors to use for hair. That neon orange is really good for other things, but it looked pretty good here. She's probably the most soldier looking of all of the other ones here, just her outfit, except for the massive heels that she has. So that one, and then we got the heavy weapon. So a lot of pink there on the visors, neon green hair, and then the black with the bone armor again. Right, shout out to Infinity, basically. And then there's one more in here, right? And this is the one that's got the helmet. The detail on the helmet was very small, very, very small. So I used the pink to kind of blow up the lighting a little bit on her. She's got green hair in the background there. She's got a little thong showing. Little detail. I didn't sculpt that, guys. That wasn't me. Just painted it. Okay, I mean that's literally, you gotta pull your tits up, and then you'll be good. But yeah, these are the Danger Gals from Cyberpunk Combat Zone. Really fun paint. Really fun. Enjoyed painting those. Wasn't 100% sure what I was gonna do, and I don't know. I think it turned out pretty well. Pretty happy with those for the most part. Okay, so there's those. So I've been on a kind of a neon painting kick because of Cyberpunk, because of I was painting a Cyberpunk Mei Feng crew. It was a very similar color scheme to that. But yeah, if you guys missed the miniature I was showing off at the very beginning of this stream, let me go ahead and get that for you. Why won't this close? Just close. There we go. All right. So at the very beginning of the stream, I finished this model very recently. This is Tidala from the Drowned Earth. I love this guy. I love this guy. Like I love. Just so you know, I love painting frog miniatures. I love painting frog miniatures. I had a Slan team for Blood Bowl, and I enjoyed painting all the different like brightly colored frogs. This guy here he's like neon magenta, and then he has neon green and yellow on his striping. And yeah, he's just a lot of fun, and can't wait to get him on the board there. You can see some of the water effect, right, for Drowned Earth. Drowned Earth minis. I mean, I don't need to say anything, right? You have frog, and I go from painting a frog to a hippo. Like that's pretty. Like that's, to me, that pretty much sums it up right there. That's that's what you need to know about Drowned Earth. Okay, so at this point, the models are undercoated, and we can now do really whatever we want to do for the rest of the model here. I am going to use a little bit of speed paint to get some of the color blocking down. That's the plan. We'll use some speed paint to get some of the color blocking down, and then the rest of it is just getting detail down. So this shouldn't be too bad. So let's see. So I'm gonna want, for the tongue, I can go with like a bright pink, which would be kind of cool. Where's my pink speed paint? I have this, which is way too dark. But yeah, that was the last cyberpunk stuff that we completed, which is again super fun. I just like working with some of these brighter colors. It's part of the reason why, you know, a lot of your like serious guy war game stuff a lot of times just doesn't really cut it for me. I may actually need that at some point, so let's keep it out. Where is the pink? I know I have pink speed paint. Just no idea where it is. The bright colors are they're just very satisfying to work with. It takes a little extra to build them up to where you're getting the color that you want, but it pays off quite a bit when you get there. All right, this is probably going to be too bright. It's okay. I'm not terribly worried about it though. Okay. So familiar pink. You don't need much. It's just going to go down in some very specific parts of this mini. Right? So you generally do like to start the inside on the mouth. And you can see that pre-shading is actually helping to prevent this pink from running wildly out of control in the mouth. Right? Because that is the fear that you could end up getting a little out of control. You can see I got some pink on that front tooth. Very easy to fix though, so I'm not worried about it. I'll get pink on both front teeth there, and I'm going to get it here on the bottom teeth because I want some pink on the gums like that. Right. Okay, and then I also have pink here in the, this is like a watermelon that he's eating. So we get some pink on there too. Okay, cool. Get a little bit there. Okay. All right, so let's talk skin for a minute here. I could try to paint eyes in, but this guy's eyes are so small, it's probably not worth doing. Instead, we're gonna do a belly that's like like a peach, like a human flavored belly in terms of its color, and then we'll kind of blend that in to the normal gray that you see in rhino skin, or sorry, hippo skin. Just looking for that peachy flesh that we have. I'm not seeing it. I can use Crusader skin if I need to, but oh no, okay, right here. All right. In fact, we are gonna, while we're here, let's go ahead and get let's get Maximus's face color blocked, right? See, not much to do there. You can see, like to a lot of people, that's done. I would go in and paint the eyes, but we'll do that at another time. Right now, I want to focus on this guy, and I want him to kind of have. He's gonna kind of have a peachy skin belly like that. I'm gonna. We're gonna use some of that peachy skin here. He's a very happy boy. It's very. He reminds me of Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, right? Like he could be similar to like your real life Croco Stimpy. Okay, and then I'm gonna feather this out. And you can do this with speed paints. You can feather. Right, just feather that out. Okay, got a little bit of a ring there. That's okay. Right, you guys can see that. Like there's a little ring here where that ends. Okay, so now let's work some of this Battleship gray in. And I understand this is a very light looking gray. That's fine because it's going to blend in. It's going to blend in where the kind of skin meets. Oh, I like to have those little flesh. I want it to be a little fleshy here around the joints. So around the knuckles of the toes, the knees. If we've got an elbow exposed, let's do it around the elbow. Let's do it around the knuckles here. Right? Okay. Now we have this Battleship gray. Okay. And the Battleship gray we're going to use, it's going to be like a blended color to help us transition from the darker gray down to the skin color, right? So we're going to use that here, right? And it's a very good gray. And this step here, this color blocking step, is really just to get kind of a roadmap of where the colors are and a starting point, obviously, with a little, just a hint of shade in it. That's going to help that. Right. So, whoa. this down. It's not too bad so far. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that right now. I'll figure out what color his loincloth and his wrap and all that stuff are gonna be. In the meantime, let's paint some teeth. So we're gonna pick some ivory. We'll detail the teeth. Nelson, will you have time to play some Moonstone tomorrow? Let me know. Okay. And we'll get a couple of these teeth here. Okay. There you go. So now we got his cool grin in. Let's see. I want to. He's got like an ore here. Can make that like a wood color. So for the weapon. We're just gonna get some of this ore down. All right. So as far as his like loincloth, I could make that a similar color, or I could go a little more with a color. I may go with like a green actually on that. Probably a good idea. Like a camo green or something like that. If I have a camo green. I could go like an orange too. Just give him some kind of brightness. Since you know he's a pirate. Actually, not opposed to that. Let's do that. Give him a little orange. Okay. Getting some text from my wife. That was a lot of text in a row there. Don't worry, I was reading them as we're painting, so we're okay. I just need to continue painting here. Okay, so we got that on the loincloth. And then now we're going to, I understand this still thing looks like a mottled mess, don't worry. Now we're gonna want to do all this rope, okay? And for the rope, I usually do a color like Sand Golem, or I could also do Pallid Bone, make it a more pale colored rope. Let's start with Pallid Bone. There's like a pouch of some sort there. So I'm gonna want to, and he's got, actually has a little bit of like a goatee, which is kind of cool. So I'll detail that in at some point. Let's get this rope going. This guy doesn't have much of an outfit really. It's mainly just the loincloth and the rope. Okay. What else am I missing? Oh, rope. More rope. And that's kind of like, pretty good. Okay. Let's start painting some of that blue of the water there. I can do like an aqua color would be pretty cool. Um, yeah, that actually would not be the worst way to do that, or I could do magic blue. Either one is fine. Why don't we do this? Let's just let it boil down to whichever color we run into first. Thought I had a good blue up here. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's too deep of a blue. Maybe like an aquamarine or something. That's a good blue. That's too deep of a blue. Let's use this blue-green. So it's a very clean-looking blue, which is actually kind of nice because the water effect I'm gonna use will make this muddier looking, make this blue muddier looking. So it's actually kind of good to have this bright of a blue as the background to it, because it'll fight its way through the cloudy water effect. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna put a little green down. Let's do camo. We have like a camo green here. I I don't think, I mean, you can see some of what this is doing on the grass. But that's a good like starting point for this wetlands base. Okay. You have that gap there. I will have to fix that later. Okay. Not bad. Let's mix in, just for fun, let's mix in a little bit of browns. I'm gonna do with that hardened leather. Is this hardened leather? No, that's orange. Are you hardened leather? That's also orange. Yeah, let's get a little bit of that brown hardened leather in there. Okay, it's actually kind of good. All right, getting there, getting there. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's go ahead and start to close in on the main body color of this bad boy. He's gonna be this Gravelord Gray. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the darker parts of the model. Right? Because still want you to be able to kind of make out the lighter points of the model. Okay. So we're going to start to blend some of this gray in. And I'm being a little deliberate about where specifically it's going, and then just going like super light, right? I want to kind of creep up on the color for the most part, because I want that. I still want you to see lots of gray. Oops. He's got a little pouch right there that I gotta make brown. Let's do that. A little pouch right here. What's in the pouch? I have no idea. No idea what's in that pouch, but we're gonna call attention to it, okay? And back here, right? Got that Gravelord Gray, and it's gonna keep most of that stuff in the shadows, but the lighter stuff will push to that battleship gray color. We are definitely starting to see more of our gray hippo here. And it's so thin, and you're just letting these colors kind of run into each other, right? So it's looking right for the color block. It's looking pretty decent. Let's get more gray on the back side of this model. And we are almost done with this gray. Okay, let's get a little green on the wood straps here, right? A little green right there. Kind of help highlight some of those issues there. Okay, and then for this pterodactyl, I want to start with a magenta color, and then I am, like I said before, I am gonna make it like really bright looking. So don't be surprised when we're done how bright that might end up looking. So we're gonna use this purple alchemy on that. You can see I'm going for a really intense magenta color there, because I do want that. I do want this little birdie guy to stand out. Right? He's just gonna have this. It's just gonna be this gray hippo with a super, super bright pterodactyl right there. And then for this green here. Can't find the greens I need. See if I can find it. Because you should be walking around with a watermelon and a pterodactyl. Right? It's kind of like Drowned Earth standard kit. Watermelon and pterodactyl. Okay. He's been chewing through that watermelon. Okay. So, yeah. So that's basically this guy blocked, right? Now we know all the colors that are going down, and now it's a matter of getting um, getting all this to look solid and not quite as patchy. I do understand that um, I did a lot of work on that gray to make it kind of patchy, but we're gonna keep, now that we have the color down, we're gonna solidify the color. So I want to start with this basalt gray. And some people are just going to stop right there and say, okay, we're done. Right? We did all the color blocking, we did the undercoating and the speed coating, and we did the color blocking. You're done. You can finish basing this and seal it up, and you're good to go. And I wouldn't begrudge you for that, because sometimes if it's like I'm in a rush, or we're purposely working on like a lower quality paint job, I might just finish there. But now I took some basalt gray and we're gonna build up this skin to make it more believable. Okay. But I mean, it definitely, at this point, definitely does, like it is looking more and more like rhino skin, right? Rhino skin is gray and patchy, and then there are some spots of rhino skin that have like a peach tone to them, like the underbelly and that kind of thing, that makes you think, oh yeah, it is kind of like peachy skin underneath all this. But yeah, the gray colors here, as I'm starting to add layers, will help kind of make that feel a little more authentic, right? So now I have this basalt gray down, and instead of adding like white to make it more pale, I'm going to start adding skin tone to make it, like, slowly make it look a little bit more like your skin as I go up in layers. So I add a little bit of beige red. Again, we're going to keep this very thin. add a little bit of white gray to it, right? And that's a good color. That's a very good color. Just it's gonna be thinner, right? So if I stay super, super thin with this, whoa. And Mr. Croco Stimpy here. His gray is definitely looking more like realistic, like it will actually, like it will make sense that it blends out to like a beige color. Right? The way the skin is blending is really fairly interesting, right? So I can keep blowing that up out that way, and it looks pretty good. This hippo is getting happier and happier the more layers I put down. Okay, let's let that layer dry. We're just gonna keep going. Let's do I'm gonna do like laser magenta on the pterodactyl, right? Because we want that so that the hippo is gonna be fairly, this color is gonna be really kind of muddy and subdued. But I really want this thing. I really want this pterodactyl to be like screaming at you like, I'm a pterodactyl! Because I could barely tell what he was when I first put him, attached him to the Mini. And I don't want other people not knowing this guy has a cool pterodactyl on his arm like that. And then get some pink on the watermelon part. And the tongue. I want his tongue to have pink to it. Right? And I want that. You can see a little neon there inside the watermelon. It's very good. Let's get, I want like a rust color for the loincloth. So even though I undercoated it orange, the faction color is going to be more of this like medium rust orange color here. Right, so I'm going to bring that back in. It's pretty easy, guys. Like this is pretty straightforward stuff. Right. Let's continue. Like the tops of muscles here. So this is a warmer gray going down. Right. Okay. Let's get a little bit more beige into this. And just keep working our way up on the skin. Right. Right. If you got too much like that, just feather it out. Right. Pretty nice. And then around here on the belly button, I like to stay closer around as I go higher in color. I want to stay closer and closer to the belly button proper. But you do end up kind of blending your color out. Oh, this is looking pretty good. Right? I am otherwise pretty happy with that. Let's keep punching up the pterodactyl and the watermelon. Pterodactyl. So you can see now, really gonna build up this neon magenta. Love neon dinosaurs. And it's just such a strong contrast with the gray of the elephant. Like the warm gray of the elephant. Right? Super bright there. In fact, I'm gonna cheat and just stick a little bit of that color right there. Right? Just to give people another like barely interesting thing to look at here. But as you can see, our happy hippo, he's coming along. Let's highlight the watermelon. So with drowned earth minis, the one thing I do differently is because they're on these, we'll call them soggy bases. They're on these waterlogged bases. I typically will paint the model, get about half of the basing done, seal the model, and then I really start to work specifically on the water effects of the model. Okay. Pretty happy. He's a pretty happy boy. What do you think? I don't know. He seems pretty happy to me. He's looking pretty good. Let's keep punching up this pterodactyl. Because that is super cool to do that. Very fun. Let's highlight some of the greenery below. yeah, you know, one thing is I didn't really do eyeballs for this guy, and I don't think I want to because of how small the eyes are. I think I'm pretty good with him just like that. And he's standing on this sort of watery base right now that will fill with water, and it will hopefully be convincing. Okay. There is one more thing I want to do here. I want to get the tips of the teeth white up here. Right. I do want to show that my man has some oral hygiene. So that's pretty good. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna let's stick some plants on him, on his base, and then he's basically done until we do the water effects on him. But let's get some. I do want to have a lot of color on this guy's base and a lot of probably do want to get more tufts and that kind of stuff on the base. Let's put one there. Let's put one here. Okay. That way we have some options. Okay. So I want to put some purple flowers down. I'll put a tuft of purple flowers right in there, right? Because I want to hide that gap. Be good to do that. Let's get a tuft of green grass. Doesn't have to be a big one. To go right there. Right? Okay. So now you can kind of use your imagination there. Fill that with water. It's going to look pretty cool. Let's do one more thing. And let's stick a little tiny, like bluish tuft back here. There we go. All right. And then let's paint the base rim. And then we're going to call it, guys, because it's been a fun little painting session on a Saturday afternoon. There's no rush for this model to get done, but it'll be another cool thing for Octavius to look at when he gets done, when he comes back from playing with his friends. He gets to see his Corsairs. Sadly, they sent me the wrong set. So, but I still have him, and I still have his boss lady that I can be painting while we wait for his axolotl and that stuff to come in. Right? So like I said, what I typically do is I would close out my normal painting process like this. Right? We're going to pretend basically that this model is done for all intents and purposes. And then I'll seal it up with a satin sealer, and then I'm going to come back, and once the satin sealer is dry, I'll come back and I'll start putting the water effects on this model, right? So you can see he'll have the water effects the way Tadala has the water effects. Okay, very cool. So yeah, that's our Mattiu, the happy pirate hippopotamus from the Drowned Earth. I mean, not 100% done, but you can see where I'm going with this guy. Looks pretty good. I could do more detail on the watermelon. I can continue to work on the skin some more, right? If I want to give it more of a textured look, I can continue to build up that way. I'm pretty happy with where it is right now, so we're gonna kind of stop it right there. I painted the lip base, so you can see this is what we're doing with the basing and all that. So with that, my friends, we are gonna call the stream to a close. Drowned Earth, very fun game. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll be honest with you, they compare it to Infinity because of the reaction system, but frankly, I don't like Infinity. I love the miniatures for Infinity. I just don't like the game. The game is too complicated with your actions, and you're like describing, oh, I'm gonna go around this corner here, and I'm gonna shoot at this miniature just like this. Just like what? Like, are you gonna lean out with your head? No, I'm gonna lean out with my shoulder first, and I'm gonna put the barrel here, and I'm like, guys, if you want to get that tactical, like, go out and play paintball, go play airsoft, right? Play a first-person shooter. Okay, these are miniature games. If you want to, you should be assuming in miniature games that you know all the nuances of movement and stuff can be captured in an agility stat, in a dodge roll. There's a lot of other stuff, and Drowned Earth does that better because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna react. If he makes it into my line of sight, I'll spend an AP and shoot at him. That's it. That's it. Not a, well, how do you shoot? You let the dice will tell you if you need to have a success or a nailed it or a whatever. It's much easier. It's much simpler than haggling with another player about, I'm gonna hide behind this, but only like so, and I'm gonna shoot you like this, but only like so. And like 10 minutes later, you roll d20 and nothing happens, right? That's Infinity. Like, guys, I like Infinity. I love the miniatures for Infinity, okay? We're gonna paint this. I will paint this. It's gonna be awesome. You'll see. You'll all see. It's beautiful. Infinity miniatures are beautiful, but when it comes to the game, haggling over your exact this or that, this has to be like this, and you can't pre-measure, it's just unnecessary tension and detail that just doesn't, in my opinion, again, in my opinion, does not significantly add to a gaming experience. If you want to have a reactive shooting experience, fine. Guess what? This game does it. And it's on a 3x3. And the rules are simpler. And things are on cards, so you're not looking up data faxes and weapon ranges and journalism 2 versus journalism 4. You're not doing any of that stuff that's just going to eat into your time. Life is short, people. You can do that in an easier, and that's what I love about the Drowned Earth, is it gives me awesome miniatures, fantastic setting, just like Infinity does. You know, love the Infinity setting, love the artwork for Infinity. But again, when it gets down into their sort of crunchy, you know, haggly is the word. It's like haggling for everything. Huh? I want this to be like this, but not quite like this, and it's gonna be like that. Like, yeah, you gotta. We're gonna bring it back, guys. Right, Drowned Earth, my guys. Drowned Earth. Okay. Simplify your life. Okay, life is short. I don't need to be playing a 2.5 hour game of Infinity where we're haggling over position and exactly who did what at what point, and looking up the sequence and then checking their skill and then measuring range and then determining your dice roll and then you're doing your dice roll. Like this game is just I'm gonna shoot and okay, okay. He either made it or didn't. Like, yeah, we get it. Your guy's acrobatic and he's climbing through the trees and he's swimming in the water. And yeah, you can do that without it being like D&D. Okay? You don't need It's another reason I was a little bit turned off by Shatterpoint, too many cards for just first thing. Yeah, I don't know. Shatterpoint is okay. It's just so boring to me. Shatterpoint is, I walk. I'm going to do that force thing because it doesn't make sense not to do the force thing. Then I'm going to walk and gain this token, and then I'm going to attack if I'm in range. And I'll stand in the spot. Shatterpoint is another one where there's not a lot of actual decision making you have to make after you pick your squad. I argue the Shatterpoint can. There's a lot of Shatterpoint that once you pick your squads and you put them down, the game kind of plays itself, right? I used to argue that 5th edition 40K did that, and I was right. But yes, those games kind of play themselves, you guys. They're not. Oh, but then I walked off when I was in range and I rolled 14 sixes and he only rolled 3 saves. Like, that's not much. There's not much. There's not much beyond that. I'm just saying. You don't need to be spending your lives looking at stupid weapon charts and comparing that. Just play the Drowned Earth and shoot at your guy. It's very simple. You get to play a frog versus a hippo. With a pterodactyl on his arm. That's very cool. It's very cool. Okay? Anyways. See, you got a rant from me at the end of the strip. Long after I'd finished painting this poor guy, who is happy, by the way. Happy. He's very happy. But, it's because he's not waiting for his owner to haggle about whether or not he's leaning out or he's rolling out or he's ducking out or he's pissing in a corner. He's just gonna move and wait for the guy to shoot. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay? Now that all the Infinity people are like freaking out. Oh! You don't, yeah. And don't get me wrong. I like a deep game, right? It's called Malifaux. I like that game. I feel like there's too many points. People play. And they want that game to go over 2 hours. Chill out, guys. You can still have a deep game. You just don't need as many pieces. Not everything needs to be healing everything. And you don't need 7 interactions when one guy takes 1 AP. Look at the AP efficiency I built into. Like, it doesn't derive. You really gotta. We're so stuck. We're so stuck in the forest for the trees analogy for some of these, like, for some of our miniature games things. Like, think about, does having all of that extra complexity, this is a real question, does having all of that extra complexity really result in a more enjoyable experience? Like, ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. Because everyone does have a limit, they have a limit to the amount of complexity that they'll tolerate in a game, but they also have a lower limit where it's like anything lower than this, and I feel like the game is playing itself. All right? So you got to find something that's in between. You know it's a dope game? Moonstone. There you go. Dope game. The game, it's very tactical. You can employ your good brainy tactic stuff in Moonstone. It's also somewhat random. If you get a bad drop, you're in for a rough day. It also has some of that rock, paper, scissors element. Oh man, You played trolls and I played nobles. Nobles are gonna rock some trolls. Like there's stuff like that in the game, and I will be the first to tell you that there is. But what it isn't is it's not 90 minutes of haggling, arguing, looking up things, and really wondering how many of your decisions actually led you to a more enjoyable gaming experience. And I'm not talking about collecting W's because again, freaking gamers get lost in that trash as well. It doesn't allow me to win. This is the most competitive crew. I need it. I need it to win. I'm gonna buy the new one. Like, you can't. You just, it, guys. You only have so much time to go out and game, right? It might be your only game this week. You might get your one game for a month. Okay, do you really want your game to be like haggling over rules and getting stuck in your complexity and not enjoying a really cool narrative unfold, a tight tactical game where it came down to making this decision or that decision or, you know, and one final roll, right? You still need a little bit of luck to win miniatures games. You probably need some more in other games, in some games versus others. You get what I'm saying, right? Like choose wisely. Don't just be like, this game's deep and complicated, and I'm a deep and complicated guy, and I need to play that. Like, it doesn't need to be life, okay? You can, right? Be little goblins fighting gnomes over rocks that fell on the ground. That's Moonstone. Like, you can do that, and you can lie to your opponent, and that's way more fun. It's very fun. This game, pretty damn fun. I'm a frog. I'm going to jump in this tree, and this guy's going to wait for me to go by, and he may come try to shoot my face in. Or he might sick this pterodactyl on me. It's fine. Right? That might be a thing. But either way, like, yeah. And I do think you're going to have to kind of balance that against, like, how intensely do you want to have your gameplay? Because I'm not trying to knock complicated games, guys. I'm not trying. I like complicated games. I really do. I don't like complication, though. To me, there are certain levels of complication that are complication that's for the sake of having complication, so that people feel like they're somehow smarter or brighter for engaging in a more complicated faction choice or a more complicated rule set and that kind of thing. It needs to be complicated for an actual reason, okay? And if it's not, then if it didn't actually, in the case of Infinity, if it didn't actually change the number of decisions or quality of decisions you made, was it really worth it? That's what you got to think about. All right, it's enough ranting for one day. I'm very happy with this boy. I'm gonna build the boss. She's really cool. You want to see the boss? Let's do that. Let's do that. Because there's a mounted and an unmounted boss. And I'm just a little disappointed that they sent me the wrong miniatures for my son. I hope this is correct. This looks correct. So this is Dahu. Dahu. And she is the leader of the Corsairs faction. She's the pirate queen. I've never seen drowned. All the Drowned Earth models I have are metal. This is the first resin kit that I've seen for Drowned Earth. My son tells me that this is a Baryonyx dinosaur. But I want to look at the quality of the resin. I am gonna want to build this. this resin, it feels like Cyocast, right? This is like, this Infinity Mini is Cyocast. It's really nice quality resin. Cyocast. Right? Yeah, it's a baryonyx. My kid's so good with dinosaurs. He didn't even, look at that. That fit. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. That's really nice fit. I can gap fill there. I'm gonna want to clean this peg off. Dude, sometimes I talk way too much trash, don't I? It's okay. I can talk trash. I feel like I can talk trash on miniature gamers because you guys you're my people. We're kin. I'm sure you will talk trash on me and my attitudes towards casual gaming and unpainted miniatures. I'm sure it goes both ways. There's probably some other stream, some guys on, Tabletop Simulator talking about, I hate it when guys really need to break out miniatures and paint them. It's really stupid. Why don't you just win the game, my guy? It would be kind of funny, actually. All right. Look at that. Look at that. The fit is so nice. It's so nice. Oh, man. It's nice, guys. Ooh, well, that's not as nice. So I'm gonna have to break out our favorite stuff, the plastic putty. I could do that, or I could do the other cool stuff that you can use is the Mr. Hobby. Where is it? This stuff is super cool too. Mr. Hobby dissolved putty. And you can mix it up, make it clear. And so anyways, pretty super happy with these. And looks like my wife is home and my little guy from swimming, so I'm gonna call our stream here. Look at that. Really nice quality, amazing quality on these. All right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna call it there. Thanks everyone for watching. Happy Hippo, very happy. All right, guys. That's it for our stream. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good one, guys, and we'll catch you on